Hello everybody, Sherman here. Thanks for all the engagement. Again, my legacy is to positively impact your life. Whether we engage short time or long time, I want it to be positive and fill you with excitement for your own life and for you to accomplish what you want to do. Remember, each of us is unique, and so you're meant to stand out. That is the whole goal in life, is to stand out. At the same time, I see this quote kind of circulating around social media is about, if you don't go after your own dreams, you'll help someone build theirs. I don't think there's anything wrong with building someone else's dream if that becomes your dream too. I wouldn't take anything away from. I think it's Johnson that worked with Phil Knight that literally helped build Nike from the ground up. He was the number one sales guy. He was phenomenal at selling shoes. Um, he opened up their Eastern office and really got their presence. At the same time, I think about like guys like Steve Wozniak that worked with Steve Jobs that helped create Apple. I think there's another Steve that helped Bill Gates. Nonetheless, oftentimes businesses or ideas come into fruition when there's teamwork that gets involved. And so I think a lot of times if you're a go-getter, it doesn't mean you have to go strike out your own company and hang up your own shingle and start your own business or start selling stuff out of your house. I think if you sell stuff out of your house, it doesn't have to become your business. It could just be a way that you're pulling in extra money, right? I think that's a good thing, right? I think oftentimes we buy a lot of junk or we hoard a lot of junk thinking that we're going to fit into that pair of pants again, thinking that we're going to, actually play with that toy, or maybe the kids will, or maybe the grandkids will, and it just really doesn't happen. Anyway, where I want to go with this rambling is really succinctly talk about your career. Because oftentimes people ask me, okay, how did you get to where you are today career-wise? And so the first thing is, number one is, coming out of college, my undergraduate degree was in international studies with a minor in Asian studies. Doesn't necessarily lend itself when an undergraduate degree to get to that next level. So oftentimes people in my degrees were going off, getting their master's degrees, working for nonprofit organizations, maybe getting hired by the NSA or the FBI or the CIA. The college I went to, BYU, a huge percent of the male population and female population are bilingual, and we speak some really weird languages. Like a buddy of mine speaks Cambodian, I speak Tagalog, I speak Filipino. Didn't grow up speaking that, so it was a good opportunity. But I didn't want to work for the government. Just wasn't my fancy. And so I was working at Shopko at the time. I was unloading trucks, just getting paid minimum wage as a stock boy. And they found out I was graduating. They offered me an assistant manager job. So I was working for them as assistant manager, going to school full time. And I remember, man, that was some grueling hours. I slept in my office sometimes just because there was so much stuff to get done, especially come that third quarter when it's really hitting hot and heavy. And then Kohl's corporate office, which is based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, well, Menominee Falls, but for all of you that aren't from Wisconsin, that's basically Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And they offered me a job, came and worked for them. I hated that job. After about a year and a half, I was looking for other opportunities. They were looking for other opportunities in me. It was not a good fit. It was a very analytical job. I knew that white shirts sold better than blue shirts. I knew which sizes sold better than which sizes. It was just a mundane job. Didn't get me excited. I knew I needed to work with people, and I remember talking to some mentors. One in particular, he worked at GE, Steve Crowley, I'll give you a shout out. And he basically asked me, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And I was like, I always saw myself as like a networker. I basically know where I'm going and I know people in town. He's like, well, like a politician? I was like, no, that is not of interest to me at all. And there was a weakness that I had that I wanted to become a strength, and that was investments. And because when I get the newspaper, when you used to get the newspaper, it was a printed copy, I would go straight to the business section. Loved knowing about what companies are running, what companies are taking over other companies, what companies unfortunately failed, and why did they fail. I really enjoyed the business section. So financial services is where I jumped into. So right out of the gate, got with an insurance company, got licensed life and health. So son was born like 2 months later. It was June. He was born April. Boom, I ran and became self-employed, insurance agent. And and then within 6 months, I was promoted to a field trainer. So then I was developing others, and I was doing a little bit of training. And that really just came from my experience in the past of leadership. And I'll hit on that in another video. And then after that, I'd gone to an industry conference, and someone had said there, one of the speakers, if you don't sell life insurance and Roth IRAs to your clients, you're not going to fully service them. Well, I want to fully service my clients. So I told my boss immediately when I got back, is I want to be able to do investments. He said, well, you can't do that here. We're an insurance shop. Well, lo and behold, I sent a few emails out. Next thing you know, I'm interviewing and I'm leaving and then going to do investment financial services. So now I'm doing insurance and investments, and did that for 5 years. Built it on a backbone. I'd lived in the state of Wisconsin for 18 months, never been here before. So we literally built it on referrals. Had to do some cold calling in there. Just, I would not allow failure to be an option. And then after that, I then shifted. After the end of 5 years, was working primarily in the medical market. Heck, I even got out to Temple University, spoke to like 130 dental students. It was just a ton of fun. But I noticed that at coming to my end of my 5th year, there was a lot of new advisors asking me for help, and because the company I was at, they kind of had this hire and see who sticks kind of a mentality, so they'd hire 10, 15 people at a time on the internship side, and then they'd hire probably five or six like new people on the full-time side a year, and there just wasn't a good solid engagement from helping them succeed, because the manager was running his own practice and so didn't really have time. And so I really liked the leadership piece. That's when I jumped over to another company and I was doing the training and development. After a year of doing the training development, they got rid of I think they had 3 managers and put me in charge of all the entire team. And then a couple years into it, I saw the opportunity to take over the northern half of Wisconsin. The two managers that were there, one was stepping down, the other one unfortunately got fired. And so I jumped in and I took over the entire territory, just did the two jobs really of those 2 previous people. And so basically I run the northern half of Wisconsin. And to me, leadership doesn't need to be a title. You can still do it, but you add value. If you care about people. If you don't care about people, then don't do leadership, right? You just shouldn't. Or find someone that can do the leadership for you, that likes people. So, delegate that. And so the way that I view careers, so the reason why I give you that path is, number one, you're going to change jobs, you're going to change careers, you're going to change maybe even industries. And that doesn't say anything bad about you. It's okay. Because the way that it is now, and I'll call it like River City Ransom, is that you're trying to basically get different skill sets. Take a step back. River City Ransom was this video game back in the early 90s with Nintendo, with these little block players, and you would beat people up, because they stole your girlfriend, and you'd beat people up, and you would get money, and with that money then you would go buy different things like food or different tools that would get you stronger, have you punch harder, have you kick faster, have you jump higher, things like that. And it was one of the first, I guess, kind of like games where you can improve yourself as a character. And so on there, it's got like stamina, willpower, kick power, punch power, all these different things. And that's the way I view career, is that you're going to go through different things and you're trying to build up different skill sets you have. It might be trying to build up on your sales skills or your marketing skills or your leadership skills. You're trying to create a better version of you that's more deployable, more utilized like a Swiss Army knife, or you're going to be laser focused like a laser and only do one thing, right? So if you're like, man, I'm really good at leadership, I'm going to be all in on leadership, that's all I'm going to do. Other people might say I want to be a little more well-rounded, so I'll know about project management, I'll know about financials, I'll know about profit and loss statements, I'll know about marketing and PR, and you get around the various aspects in the corporate world. And I view that that's the real way to run your career, is look at it like, hey, I have certain skills that I want to develop, and there's certain weaknesses that I also want to develop into strengths, and how do I attack those? That is the way to River City Ransom your career. Hope you have a fantastic day.